First of all, big welcome to everybody who came here. Thank you so much, community. We're just so happy to see everybody here. My name is Rich Martinez. I'm the fire PIO for the Lookout Fire. I'm the loud voice bringing you up. This is actually my wheelhouse right here on a court. I used to rep a lot of high school basketball, a few years of college basketball, and made it up to the pros. Worked a little bit in the NBA on the officiating side. So I feel comfortable out here, and I hope you feel comfortable with me. All right, little icebreaker there. Just some little things. Restroom, you guys know the restrooms are outside the door. Make sure you use the restroom anytime. Feel free to get up. Turn your cell phones off. Make sure that they're on buzz or vibrate so we don't hear it, so the speakers can get out their message that they want to get. Emergency exits are located on both sides of each place, right out the back way you came, and this side of the building, 2 exits on the far side. Fire extinguishers are as noted in the event of an emergency, okay? I think we have enough emergency personnel here to get you out nice and safe, okay? Thank you.
Short of a volcano.
It's short of a volcano, you're on your own on that one. All right, on your own. Yes. I'm going to turn the microphone on. I don't need it right now. If we have somebody that does need it, they will grab the microphone and talk. If you need them to speak up, please just ask, and then we'll get them on the mic, and you can hear them a little bit more clear. You see the schedule. We're doing first 30 minutes will be the Lookout Fire. We'll have our folks talking about current situation, fire history, what's going on. We ask that you hold all questions till the end. And at the end, we're going to do a breakout session. I'm going to put some folks in different areas of the gym, and you can go to the specific person and have that one-on-one conversation, right? How's it going? How does my home look over in that area? Where are you at? I'm on Blue River Street. Yeah, I know that area. Let's take a look on the map. Let's get close and personal at the end and have that conversation with the person that you want to have that with. Good? Excellent. Thank you so much. So without further ado, we're going to get going with some introduction. We'll make this pretty quick. They're just going to get up and say who they are and who they work for, what fire they're on. We'll start on the end with Mr. Schuster.
Hello, good evening everybody. Scott Schuster. I'm the safety officer on Nevada Team 1 and serving as the safety on Lookout.
Thank you. That's okay. I love that.
Hey everybody, I'm Chase Matus. I'm operations for Nevada Team 1, managing the fire line operations out there on the Lookout Fire.
Good evening everyone. I'm Danny Gallagher, the incident commander trainee on Nevada Team 1 on the Lookout Fire.
Hello, good evening. I'm Joe Powell. I'm the incident commander for Nevada Team 1 on the Lookout Fire.
These are our friendly PIOs working the fire. We got the incoming team coming in, and go ahead. You can introduce yourself. Get up there. Let them know who you are.
Jessica Reed, Public Information Officer. I also am a local and I live in McKenzie Bridge.
Right here, McKenzie Bridge.
Amy Forsgren, Public Information Officer.
My right hand right there.
Everybody, good evening. I'm your McKenzie River District Ranger.
District Ranger!
And also the Bedrock AA.
All right.
Yeah, that is a tough act to follow. I wanted to get more applause. I didn't want to.
I'm Aaron Rowe. I'm the Operations Section Chief on the Bedrock and Salmon Fires.
Hey, good evening. I'm Jeff Bouchard. I'm IC trainee with Northwest Team 12, managing the Bedrock and the Salmon Fire.
Good evening. I'm Dwayne Bishop. I'm the Deputy Forest Supervisor for the Willamette. I'm also Agency Administrator for the fire.
Hey, Dwayne. Rainbow.
I'm Rainbow. I'm the Fire Chief for Upper McKenzie Rural Fire Protection District.
All right, Rainbow. Hometown hero.
Good evening. My name is Tim Chase. I'm the Search and Rescue Coordinator with Lane County Sheriff's Office.
Good evening all. Cliff Farrell, your Lane County Sheriff.
Sheriff is here. Awesome. So as you can see, we're just going to have a comfortable feel here today, get a little talking out, get you feeling comfortable with us and what's going on that fire. We know you see smoke. You are obvious. You people are fire smart. You're already there, all right? So we don't have to dumb anything down for you. We're just going to give it to you like it is, all right? So without further ado, we'll start with the incident commander of the Lookout Fire, Joe Powell.
Hey, can everybody hear me, or do I need to use the microphone? I always feel like I sound weird when I'm talking in the microphone, so. All right.
Microphone.
Microphone? I need the microphone.
It's on.
It's on.
Let me turn it down.
Everybody hear me? Thank you. All right, so incidents, I'm just going to cover the beginning of the incident, and then I'm going to let my incident commander trainee fill you in with what happened after we took the fire in the following days. So incident start date was 8/5/23 on the northwest side of Lookout Mountain on the upper third of the slope. When the team was called, it was 1 to 3 acres. The plan was to go, the initial plan was a direct attack on the fire to keep it as small as possible. But based on overhead danger of the trees, angle of the slope, and long extraction times for any injured individuals, 5+ hours, an indirect approach was deemed necessary. Our challenges were access to the fire, old growth forest with no fire disturbance for several decades, 5-hour extraction time for injured individuals. And I'll let Danny fill you in on the following days after our initial takeover of the fire. So, thank you.
You guys want me to all use the mic? Yeah. Okay. How's that? Is that a little better? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go over some of our successes that we've had in the 5 days that we've taken the incident over. In the 5 days, we've been able to get a PACE model, which is a primary, alternative, contingency, and emergency lines set up to help us with the suppression actions. Our ops folks have scouted roughly 35 miles of indirect line in that area to find another option instead of the direct option. We've set up an incident command post, a sleeping area or a camp area for eating, sleeping, and a supply unit area for the firefighters up at the airstrip. We've also set up a staging area for heavy equipment and weed wash. And our air operations set up a helibase to run the helicopters out of closer to the incident. I'll give a quick rundown of some numbers for our fire. Currently we have 236 personnel assigned with more en route. We have 4 helicopters, 3 Type 1s, which are the big heavies, 1 Type 3 that's used for recon and troop shuttle, and they've dropped a total of 77,735 gallons of water over the last 5 days. We currently are starting to use scoopers and fire bosses, and we have the Wainima Hotshots, who also showed up with an unmanned UAS for our use. Currently, we have 1 hotshot crew, 6 Type 2IA, 1 Type 2 crew. We have 3 dozers, 3 Type 6 engines, 2 masticators, 2 feller bunchers, 3 water tenders, 2 ambulances, 9 fire line medical personnel, and 8 falling modules on the incident currently. And with that, over the last 3 days and all these individuals showing up to help support the incident, we've had 0 injuries or accidents. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chase Manus, our operations, and he'll give you an update.
He's a lot shorter than me.
It was me.
It was Joe. I just want to start with, so operationally on the Lookout Fire, You know, when we showed up, we immediately realized that that fire was an extremely rugged terrain in old growth timber. I got a view of it and I could see some snags burning on the hill. We sent a crew up in there, and our goal was to go direct on that fire, and they gave us the report back that they didn't think that they could do it safely. So with that, I immediately deployed our operational divisions. That 35 miles of line he was talking about. We took a good look at the terrain, and those guys got out there. And you guys are locals, you know, walking through the old growth stands here, it is difficult, but I just want to give props to those guys for getting out there, putting boots on the ground, and helping develop the operational plan that we have now. Our number one priority is Lookout Ridge. Lookout Ridge is the last ridge before it drops down into the community. So as resources have been coming in, I've been prioritizing Lookout Ridge, particularly the resources that can get the most work done. So that's our number one priority on the incident right now, is build an indirect line along Lookout Ridge in order to hold it before it comes down to the community. We're also, so with Lookout Ridge, there's sections that are roadless, so that's where the hand crews are working. We also have 2 task forces of heavy equipment, feller bunchers and bulldozer combination, that are working the areas along the Ridgetop Road where they can gain access. So a lot of good work in there. As far as coming around the horn, we have an indirect line planned to come down this ridge and tie into Lookout Creek. And then we're trying to use Lookout Creek to hold the fire on the north end. So our goal is to keep it in a small footprint as possible. We got a lot of folks out there doing a lot of good work, and I got high hopes for our operations that we have right now. I think I did the math, and I think we've got over 110 people on Lookout Ridge right now, and we're kind of running out of room to put people. So we're kind of at max capacity, but those guys have been doing a lot of good work. So I just want to say I appreciate all you guys coming, and if there's any questions after this, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Next up is Scott Schuster, safety.
Good evening, everybody.
I could have just done that.
Could just pull it.
Could have done that. So when an incident management team is called in, an incident commander, their team is given what they call a delegation of authority. It allows, an incident management team, when they're called into a local district or a force, are given something called the delegation of authority, and then there is some management objectives. The number one management objective in any delegation of authority or any direction to an incident management team is to provide for firefighter and public safety. That is always our number one directive. So when we got here and we were given an in-brief and we were told that our fire was burning at a slope of 60+% in an area in a forest that has a history of firefighter fatalities, that became my number one priority. You guys are well-known and hardened community to fire, right? We've had the holiday fire run through here, and unfortunately this community has experienced 2 firefighter fatalities in the last few years. And so on the second day, myself, some operational folks, and some medical folks made the trek from Highway 1506, 3 miles in at 1,462 degrees of elevation from the road to the fire's edge to see if we could safely and effectively take a direct attack on this fire. With NEMA hotshots not feeling comfortable with the snags, not having an established anchor point, not having an escape route, and like our IC said, a 5+ hour extraction rate should an employee or a firefighter be hurt. I came back, I talked to Chase, and we made the decision that in the interest of safety that we would take a different approach to this. Because the last thing that this team wanted to do is have an injury or fatality and add to your community of mourning. So we took that approach. We built and bolstered the EMS division under 2 medical unit leaders. They brought in some paramedic ambulances. They brought in line paramedics. We ordered a couple rapid extrication teams and REMS teams that are people who are highly qualified to conduct high-angle, low-angle rescues of employees in steep-driven terrain in the interest of, should there be an employee or a firefighter hurt, that we can extract them in a timely manner and get them to a higher level of care. In our 5 days that we've been here, I'm happy to report that, again, we've had 0 injuries, 0 claims, 0 accidents, and we can turn this fire over to a new team knowing that we've done everything we were supposed to do when we came here, providing for public and firefighter safety. So, thank you.
Thank you, Scott. I just want to let the folks know watching us online, please go into the comment section and ask those questions. We have PIOs awaiting any questions that you have. They'll be there to answer, and if they don't get that answer to you right away, they'll get it later on this evening. Okay? Continuing on, Dwayne Bishop with the Willamette National Forest, our agency administrator.
Okay, so, hey Rich, do we want to pause? There's a whole bunch of people that came in here. There's a bunch of seats over here.
Love it.
Can we pause for a second and let people migrate?
Come on in, we'll take a pause real quick. Thanks, Dwayne. Folks, if you could slide over just for a second, make some room so they can sit in. Come on over. Thank you. Welcome. What's up, little man? You want a Smoky Bear pen? You know you want a Smoky Bear pen. Smoky Bear pen. Get the Smoky Bear pen. Grab a water on the way in. Stay hydrated. If you need a water, just raise your hand. On it. Get the water, run it up the stand. Okay? Let them know. Just raise your hands up. You guys good on this side? All the same? Good? Smokey just turned 79 the other day. Let's not forget that. All right? Well, sitting down comfortable, looking good, it's getting a little warm. We'll keep moving through this. Try and get you out of here, okay? Again, sorry about that. Dwayne Bishop, Agency Administrator.
So I hate using these, but I'll make it work. So, you know, first and foremost, I wanted to thank the Nevada team, number one, they got here. You know, as I've shared, and I think they've painted the picture, you know, the Lookout Fire is definitely in some of our toughest ground on the forest. You know, we have talked a lot about that ground and you know, what we can do there and what we can't do. But they've came in and they built a really solid plan that is going to be handed off to this next team. And so then it's time to build that, implement that plan. So, you know, they came in, took it from local resources that were doing the best they could and actually getting up on that. And just to give you a little update, you know, from the bottom of the fire or bottom of the trail up to the top is 1,460 feet of elevation climb. So, and then once you get there, the duff is 2 to 3 feet deep. So trying to dig fire line in that sort of, that terrain is pretty tough. Also, wanted to, you know, as an agency administrator, we gave them a delegation to do this work on the forest, and as well as the incoming team, well, they got a similar delegation. So under that delegation, the number one value for us, like you've heard before, is life first. And we really take that as a serious consideration. Everything else is secondary to that. And so that also helps us make some risk-informed decisions about what we do and what we don't do, and then where we engage. And so really wanted to highlight that. So, you know, I won't go through this, but, you know, as an agency administrator, we give a kind of our leader's intent with specific items we want teams to consider. And I won't go through this 4-page document because it's way too warm in here. But I would say that a couple of things, again, you know, first and foremost, life first. The second one is minimize acres burned and keep the fire on Forest Service land. Really, really important, and we've been striving since the beginning to do that. And then also work with, I haven't seen them, but Oregon Department of Forestry is a very strong partner of ours. Oh, there we go. Good to see you, Mike. You know, so, you know, we've been working with them since day one to order equipment. as fast as we can to get in there and start building line using local resources for that line construction. And then a couple of the other ones I wanted to highlight. Communication. You know, since we began this, every communication we have with the teams is about open and transparent communication with all of you. And so our public affairs group, wherever Rich is, and his team, there you go. You know, they've been striving every day to share as much as possible on social media, you know, and for those, you know, that don't do social media like myself, you know, putting it in the paper and just doing those press releases so that we really are striving for open and transparent communication and, you know, a condition of the fire and then what we're planning moving forward. So again, hats off to Rich and his shop. And that's part of the delegation that we want with the incoming team, is to continue that and continue to explore new ways to share that information. You know, we put sandwich boards up at a number of the stores, you know, with that information, and we'll continue to do that. And then also another really important one I wanted to highlight is minimize economic risk and impacts to the local community. You know, as we've said before, we recognize the impacts in the last few years of the recent fires, and you know, the number of people in this room that lost, you know, all or everything, and we recognize that, and we're striving to minimize that impact. And so, you know, yesterday we had a great cooperators meeting with a number of entities to talk. It was our first one, and we started plowing the ground about, you know, most important, evacuation. And I don't want to steal your thunder, Tim, but you know, that's again really important. But that cooperator meeting was also talking about how do we work together, and you know, we've worked together a lot in the last few years, but just kind of dusting that off and kind of tightening that up, and so that it went incredibly well. And then I think that's probably good for now. It's getting way too hot in here. So I wanted to invite Dave Warnack, the Forest Supervisor, to say a few words. Thank you.
Good evening. Dave Warnack, Forest Supervisor here in the Willamette. I wasn't on the agenda, but I really feel like I need to say a few words, right? I want to acknowledge how hard this is for all of us to face again, right? We've got a lot of activity on the Willamette right now. We've got the Bedrock Fire, the Salmon Fire, the Wiley Fire, and the Lookout Mountain Fire, right? A lot going on right now, and we've had a lot going on for the last 3 years running, right? I came into this position a couple of months before Labor Day 2020. I've been here, I understand the impact that it has on all of us when we see smoke in the air. I don't want to get in the way of today's presentations, but I do want to share that we're going to do breakouts after this, and I drove my own car up here tonight. I intend to be the last one out of this building. If anybody wants to talk, I'm here at your service to talk tonight. I also want to share that we are in a new era of wildfire in Western Oregon. I think that's clear to everybody. And it's difficult. And it's here to stay, right? The way that we go forward is together. That's why ODF's in the room. That's why the Office of the State Fire Marshal's in the room. Lane County's in the room. Our network of coordinated effort is how we are going to confront this change, right? And I just want you to know that I am here and I'm at your service, and I will be here throughout the evening. Please come, ask questions, engage. I will be completely available. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. And I just want to let you all know, we did our in-brief today a little earlier, and we all introduced ourselves just like we did today. Dave came up when it was his turn to speak, and it was like a head coach at halftime and giving it to us for you guys, for letting us know the community needs you to do this. The community has your back. Get out there and get to work. That was his speech to us. Really uplifting. So thank you, Dave, for that. We appreciate that. Next up, Oregon State Fire Marshal David Hall.
Hello everyone, my name is David Call and I represent the Oregon State Fire Marshal on the Lookout Fire. So due to the multiple fires in the... Alright, is that better? Yes. Okay, so again, my name is David Call. I represent the Oregon State Fire Marshal. And due to the multiple fires on the landscape right now, they have requested me to come over from Central Oregon, and I am the agency rep for the Lookout Fire. So they are watching and they are very aware. We have task forces of structure protection resources in district, and we have a plan for if it does end up coming towards communities to invoke the Conflagration Act and move towards ensuring that structures are protected. I will be here as well after if you have questions concerning structure protection and what the State Fire Marshal is planning on doing if the need arises.
All right, we're going to bring up some of our local folks. For the Upper McKenzie Fire District, Chief Christina Rainbow Plews.
It's a lot taller than I am. I don't want to be here again. I won't lie. I look at all of these faces here, and we've done this. And there's some differences this time, and I want to point those out because I think that they're a positive thing to acknowledge. And one of them is that we're actually having time to have a meeting and get together and talk about the plan. In 2020, we did not have that luxury. The evacuations are going out like they are planned to do instead of everyone's lives are in danger right now and we have to try to catch up. So we have the blessing right now of a time window, and I want to just stress that everyone can help us best by helping yourselves. And I think the references to a fire-hardened community, I'm going to just stress that we are. I know a lot of us feel broken and a lot of us have not fully recovered from 2020, but we know we learned a lot of lessons, and the best way you can support us is by helping yourselves. So when evacuation levels come in, or you're near somewhere that has an evacuation level that's in place, pay a close attention and do the things that you know you need to do to prepare for the worst, and we hope that doesn't happen, of course. In the next couple of days, you will see some of our local volunteers going through neighborhoods and talking to folks. You will see some of the structural teams that, where did he go? That David has brought in. Oregon State Fire Marshal teams, we have a task force from Tillamook County that's come all the way down from the coast, and another task force from Clatsop County who's come all the way down. Those are being managed by the Oregon State Fire Marshal, as well as we have two fully fleshed out task forces ready to rock and roll right out of Springfield from local Lane County departments. So we are very well supported on the structural end, and I want you to know that is. I want you to all feel very comforted by that knowledge, that we are very much paying attention. This is not just a Forest Service game. We're so grateful for everything that they do on the forest, but we're definitely paying attention, and I think our lessons that we've learned are going to be paying off in big dividends. So help your neighbors, help yourselves. We will be responding to 911 calls just like we always do. We had meetings today and responded from there to a 911 call. We will be in the community helping people that are having medical problems or small fires in their home, the toaster's on fire. Those are things that we will be continuing to answer. I think the last thing I just want to say is I know everyone's really crunchy. we're really on a kind of high alert, that fight or flight syndrome. So just remember to be kind to each other. It's not the time to discuss politics of firefighting. Be thankful for what we have here, doing the best that everyone can. Be thankful for our law enforcement partners and especially our local volunteers. Just be kind to each other. Be patient. We don't have all the answers, but we are here for you. Just like we've heard from, I think everyone has said that, we're here for you. And reach out at any time, and we will try to answer questions. We'll be here. I'll be here for questions as well.
All right, from the Lane County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Cliff Harrell.
Hey everybody. Yeah, I just really wanted to be here tonight. I know that, as the chief said, we didn't get a chance to compare notes, but you know, blood pressure's up, right? Like the anxiety based on what we're seeing. It seems like I've only been your sheriff for 4 years. It seems like ever since I became sheriff, we've had a fire every summer. It seems like that because it's true. My first year, we learned a lot. My second year, we learned a lot too. And I just want you to know that now that we've got it on the landscape again, my blood pressure goes up too. So I'm right there with you. I do want you to know we have learned a lot. And so the teamwork between the wildland firefighter specialty, the state fire marshals, strike teams that come in, you know, we've really learned that we want to be embedded with them right away because we are responsible for the evacuation information. And so we've been embedded with Bedrock Fire, we've been up here, we're going to continue to be up here. And so when we give that evacuation notice, I just want you to know that we're listening to the experts, both structure and wildland, and then making the best decision for you. And as your sheriff, I want you to know that the idea of doing a level 3 evacuation where we're saying, you know, as the government, you can't go to your home, that's a big deal to me, a really, really big deal. And I want you to know that. But also, obviously, life safety is a big deal, right? I have family members up here. And so I just want you to know that there's a lot of consideration that goes into that. Obviously, you guys are here, so you want to hear this information. You want to be in the know. I'm sure you're going to be paying attention to all the sources of information. Obviously, the www.lanecounty.org website, we've already got a line for lookout fires, so there's information available to you there. We're going to hang out, and I want to introduce real quick the Lane County team. Of course, you know Patience Winningham, our emergency manager. Everybody in this room probably knows Patience. Tom and Devin, will you show your faces real quick? So our PIOs who do the work behind evacs are Tom and Devin. The reason I want you to see their faces is afterwards, if you have questions about how you make sure you get an alert, go talk to Tom or Devin, and they will make sure that you know how to be signed up for the county's current system to hit your phones. And if you have questions about how we decide when do we make everybody's phone go off, or when do we just target things, when do we hit the TV and radio, when do we not, they can answer all those questions for you. And with that, I just want you to know we're going to be up here, we're going to be paying attention. Please pay attention to the information sources and know that there is a lot of teamwork that goes into trying to make sure that this community stays safe. With that, I'm going to stop blabbing. I'm going to ask Tim Chase. He's our search and rescue manager, and I'm so thankful for my search and rescue folks. They do all the mapping of zones for how we do evacuations, so I'll have Tim come up and talk specifically about what we're looking at with this fire. Thanks.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me all right? So I've been actually in contact with the team here, actually even Monday before they were given this fire. We've been in communications, also with the Bedrock team, with the Salmon Fire. It's pretty common for us to be at all those kind of meetings because they fight fires and they're really good at it. We don't fight fires, but we unfortunately have gotten really good at evacuation planning and evacuations. So we have a few areas right now that are on that level 1, and that means making those decisions and thinking about what that would be like if we went to a level 2 or a level 3 and you need to leave. the reality is, for the places that we live, we sort of suggest everybody to be kind of automatically on their own level 1 the whole summer. It just makes sense. Have those documents, have those plans in place, how you're going to communicate to family, how you're going to get out of the area, where you might go, if you have things that where you can go and make those things work for you, have that thought process done. And then we work with the teams specifically on where the fire is, the fire behavior analysts, the weather, how their resources are, what success they're having with the fire, to make those decisions. And we bring all that information through the sheriff and to make those alerts. And like he said, the alert system is very important. So we've got some information on our alert system. We also have information in the front on the different levels. If you need to review any of that. But that's really our big push, is to be prepared. To, we all know we're in this area, and these are things that could happen. So we just want folks to take care of themselves as best they can, and that just helps us help the folks that need more help. So I think that's about all I have. So thank you.
All right, we're very fortunate to have some folks with us. As you can see, there's a couple columns of smoke coming over your area, and not just the lookout fire. So for those that are here to listen a little bit of the Bedrock stuff, we got the Bedrock folks up. I want to introduce the local district ranger and administrating agency administrator, Darren Cross.
It's nice to have a hype man. Thank you. So Darren Cross, I'm your district ranger here at McKenzie River, and man, my heart's been torn, right? Because I left here and I've been agency administrator for the Bedrock Fire for the last week. I saw some of you. I see some familiar faces that were here when we had our public meeting about a week ago or so. So I think you'll be able to, for those of you that saw that, you'll be able to see the progress that we've made. Just want to, a couple of local folks here. You got Dan Trapanese, who's our district fire management officer over there. He's our local. So he's your local knowledge base that's working closely with the fire to make sure that all that local knowledge is transferred to these teams that are coming in from a long ways away. We're going to talk to you a little bit about the operations that have been going on down here and the smoke that's been put up in the air, and it's going well, right? We're doing well over there. All that smoke over there is from operational fires, which is a good thing, right? We're getting close to where we'll be able to button that up. So that's good, right? Cross fingers, don't want to jinx anything, but it's really challenging to be in this position of kind of both sides of the fence, right? So I'm paying attention to what's going on over here. I want to recognize too our H.J. Andrews folks that we've been talking to. They've been helping us out. There's cameras that are online. You guys can see the cameras from H.J. Andrews to see what's going on there. So really, I'm trying to stay focused on the Bedrock Fire, pay attention to what's going on down there, while also paying attention to the community here and everything that's going on here. So I have a week left at Bedrock, and then I'll come back, and then I'll be here. So about a week and a half or so, I'll be back on here and working with Team 6 and taking that transition and doing our best to implement the plan that these guys have put forward. So really appreciate you all coming here. I'll be here all night as well to answer any questions and speak with anybody who'd like to talk.
Thanks, Darren. Next up from the Bedrock Fire, Operations Section Chief Aaron Rowe.
Hey, good evening. Aaron Rowe on the Bedrock Fire and the Salmon Fire. So I'm going to start with the three things that are really a big priority to what we're working on the Bedrock and Salmon Fire right now. And the first thing is initial attack. So basically there's a temporary flight restriction over all of the Bedrock Fire and then some surrounding areas associated with that. So I'm not going to try to explain how that works, but basically we've got to go fight that new fire that might start here for the lightning strike or there or maybe here. So we've got a bunch of crews and engines and dozers ready to go to that if a new fire was to happen. And part of that success was shown on the Salmon Fire down here. When we initially took the Bedrock Fire, we were also asked to take right pretty much off the bat when we showed up to relieve Team 13 that did a great job on the Bedrock Fire. I'll get to that in a minute here, but also, right as the incident commander was assuming command of the Bedrock fire, we were handed the Salmon fire. And luckily, they had done enough ordering of hotshot crews and Type 2IA crews and other crews to basically set us up for success on the Salmon fire. And right now, it's basically 60% contained. It's got hand line all around it. There's hose mostly all around it. You just can't quite get there because some of that terrain's fairly steep there. So really good success going on the Salmon fire. We'll be increasing containment as time goes on. We just don't want to, we want to make sure that it's not going anywhere basically. So we put a lot of, obviously there's a lot of values at risk, we call them, in Oak Ridge with all the people there, all the infrastructure, everything that's there. So we put a lot of effort into Salmon fire and are having very good success at the moment. So I'm going to get to the second priority of what we're really working on right now. And you've probably been seeing more smoke lately, and a lot of that has to do with, let me back up just slightly. So Salmon fire, really good at success. I'm not saying that what happened early on in the Bedrock fire was not good success, but sometimes we can't quite get to the fire and do what we did on the Salmon fire. And a lot of that has to do with inaccessible terrain, where the roads are, what the fuels are like, winds, weather, all kinds of stuff. So basically, they weren't quite able to get it on initial attack. So the original team that was on here, Team 13 that preceded us, set us up really well for success, prepped a lot of these exterior roads that are around here. This whole part down here, which we call the boot, is looking really good. That's what that black line is there. That basically that's our current containment of 20% that we're showing on that. That's where a lot of that is. As days go by, there's some other areas we're going to start putting black on the map, which means basically there's really good solid containment and it's not going to go anywhere kind of a thing. But we've got two priorities left here, and a lot of it has to do with this side right here, which is probably a lot of the smoke that you guys are seeing down here, because there's the road, the 1817 road that you guys may be familiar with. We're basically bringing fire off the top, off that road, and just bringing it down to the 18 road is really what we're doing right now. So kind of a big operation in the next couple days. We're hoping to tie that in, hopefully within, I'll say 48 hours. And so that's, I guess, what I was calling the second priority after that initial attack. The other part is in the headwaters of the Hee drainage up by Symbol Ridge. And we're making some really good plans. Lines are getting in place, and we'll be burning that out to real soon here to kind of lock this corner in. So we're doing good. We've got all the resources we need. Now we just really need to go implement the plan. And so you'll be seeing some more smoke within the next, call it 48, 72 hours. Eventually that smoke's going to hopefully start dying down. And so, and it'll hopefully be less visible over time. But we're pretty good where we're at right now. We've got to wait for some weather that's coming in that's going to have a little bit of an easterly component to it. A little bit hotter, a little bit drier, but we feel pretty good where we're at right now. So I'm going to leave it at that. Appreciate all you guys being here.
Next up, we'll bring up the incident commander for Salmon and Bedrock, Jeff Bouchard.
Yes.
Said that right?
Said that right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Jeff Bouchard, IC trainee with Northwest Team 12. Appreciate y'all coming out tonight. I know it's hot in here. I'll try to keep this brief, because I know you guys have a lot of questions. You want to engage with folks down here and get your questions answered. So just to highlight a couple of things that you heard from Darren and Aaron, there is we are being successful on both Salmon and Bedrock. We're taking actions for strategic firing actions, trying to button up the fire, try to minimize the overall footprint of that fire, minimize the acres burned, while protecting our communities, while working with our partners, protecting the private lands, private timber company lands all around the incident, and really try to get that wrapped up as soon as we can. The reality is with Bedrock, it's going to be on the landscape for a long time. Even if we are successful with what Aaron talked about on burning on both sides, there's going to be residual smoke. There's going to be a lot of activities that are going to continue out there for weeks. Our staffing over there, currently on Bedrock, we're 1,031 personnel are assigned to the Bedrock fire. Over on Salmon, there's roughly 140 people assigned to Salmon. So we have great staffing. We're being successful. We're looking forward to this upcoming weather event, being prepared for new initial attack fires, and then, you know, with our large number of resources that we have, you know, we've already been sharing a lot of aircraft and other resources with the neighboring fires. Plan to continue to do that in the future, and really looking forward to you know, trying to close this off and give you guys a little bit of relief. At that, I'll tie it off. Thanks for your time today. Look forward to chatting with you guys. And with that, I'll hand it back to the MC over here.
All right, still loud enough. So we just want to recognize a couple folks here at the end as we wrap it up before we go into our breakup groups. A lot of the intel that we got from the Lookout fire was due to the H.J. Andrews folks. So Mark Schultz and Brooke Petaluna, who's up top there, thank you for everything you gave us. Unbelievable intel. Thank you for that. So without further ado, we're gonna be leaving you. Nevada Team 1 will transition out. We'll bring in a Type 2 team. Jody Barham here will be your new public information officer. Look on the new site. Yeah, say hi. She'll get you all that information for our fire. Just keep looking at those Facebook websites and then all your local ones. We'll be tagging all that stuff so you guys are always on track with what's going on. If not, they have a phone number and an email. Please feel free to contact them at any time. There's always somebody there to answer the phone. Absolutely. So we'll do breakout groups now. We just want to say thank you to all of you for coming. This is about you, not about us. It's about you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yourselves. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we'll break out now. Nevada Team 1, they'll stay in this area right here. Whoever has any questions or if you just want to say thank you, please stop by and chat with those folks. The agency administrators will be over here near this closure map. They'll talk about any closure stuff or any forest stuff for that matter, whatever you have for them. The bedrock and salmon folks will be right here next to their map. Come on over and ask them any questions. They'll be here to answer. They said they're going to be here all night. You shut the gym down for us? It'd be good. All right. Sheriffs are going to be over here on the edge. Please come by and see the sheriff, see Tim, talk to them. Any questions you have, these guys are good guys. I just met them. Tim, I've known for a few days now. This whole collaborative effort with everybody, I've done this for a long time. I'm an ex-Redmond smoke jumper out of Central Oregon. Jumped the Willamette a couple times. This is awesome to see. The community and the people that come together. So from all of us on our side, thank you for everything. That'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.